It's Doom here from Dungeon and Doom Biscuit, and we are going to paint up this teepee. And it's probably not dry all the way because I just kind of hit it with the hairdryer real quick. I was going to put it in front of the fan, and I decided I have other things I got to get done tonight, so not quite dry. Using a soft brush, something very soft, and some of my dirty paint water. Bring my dirty paint water over this way so I can get to it. I'm going to make a sloppy coating for this of a light brown. And I'm trying, if I can help it, not to get it on the ground. So the reason the hole is open on the top supposedly is so they can have fires inside. I shouldn't say supposedly, that's what I read. But my question is, how small of a fire is it? Because, like, if it's only 20 foot across, where are you sleeping that you're not getting cold from the gaps underneath? Or, if there is gaps underneath, I assume there's got to be some kind of gaps that they're packing grass or mud or insulation of some sort into. I mean, it's still a tent, essentially. But where are you sleeping that you're not getting burned up by this fire is my question. Oh, you know what? Let's get this rope painted too. And we'll come back and do the sticks in a dark brown. And then we'll do a wash over those sticks in the rope. Because I want this to be some kind of like thrush twine that they made out of reeds or grass or whatever. I assume that's... I don't know much about their their rope technology, truth be told. I don't. Maybe they had super modern nylon ropes. I don't know what the hell the Native Americans or indigenous people had. I just know they had teepees because I saw it on the internet, and it must be true. All right, we're going to hit this with a coat of hot air. Okay, then I'm going to use Territorial Beige mixed in with this wet crap. Just like this. And then any of the patches that are a little bit darker. You can't even see where this patch begins and ends. I'll come up here with it. And there's a patch under here where that lays over it. We'll kind of hit that roughly. And we'll hit that in a couple spots to make it look like it's different pieces of hide. Like that. Let's hit this with a hot air gun and see what it does. let's do the ground. To do the ground, we're going to get my Dollar Tree deep brown. We're going to leave that there. And we're going to do our painted desert look. But instead of just doing all painted desert, we're actually going to add some foliage, I think. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet, though. We're going to mix some of that in. Break that up. Okay. We're going to get a smaller brush. It's a medium brown. I'm using melted chocolate. Then I'm going to do my sticks with this. And I'm going to try to not get it on my ropes if I can help it. That's the plan. How good of a plan is it? Well, I don't know yet. I tend to be kind of sloppy. And just go around and get your sticks all brown. Now, some of the pictures I saw are very modern, and they're like beautiful canvas with multi-colors on them and stuff. I don't know how accurate those were to real teepees, nor do I care, because mine were not made by true indigenous or native people. Mine were made by fictitious people that don't actually exist. So if there's some inconsistencies in design, well, it'd be all right. Okay. Let's make a wash. To make our wash, let's get this and add a little paint water to it. Now this, unfortunately for me, does have Mod Podge in it, which will make it a not very good wash as I'm thinking about it here. Yeah, that will not be a good wash. Okay, no problem. Dump that out, wipe it out, get a little bit of water. Get a little bit of dish liquid. If I can figure out where I put dish liquid, there we go. I don't want to use as much dish liquid as I did in my wash yesterday. There we go. Oh, just as much, damn it. I'm going to get a little bit of brown paint and a little bit of black paint. There's my black. There's my brown. Oops, missed. And I'm going to get a tiny bit of rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to wipe up my mess before I get started. Fortunately, we're able to donate a lot of clothes because I have 2 boys that grow out of stuff. Very little of it gets handed down to number 4 from number 3 because he doesn't like, he's just not okay with it. He doesn't like it. He's not a hand-me-down kid. And that's okay. You don't have to be. But we do donate a lot of what we have to either families we independently know or dropping off a load of it somewhere. It's good to do that. There's a lot of people right now, especially if you can find places that have like back-to-school things that help kids get clothes. Like Goodwill is okay, but here's the deal. There's a lot of money changing hands before the product gets on the shelf to somebody. So something you gave them for free might end up being $3 or $4. If you can find somebody to directly give that to, you're saving a step. All right, I'm going to set my wash off to the side for a moment. I'm going to clean up my mess. I'm going to hit this with the air gun one more time before I do my wash. Now, should my tent be decorative? Well, I'd say something in the comments, but I don't think they get to me in time. Unless you have some kind of predictive method of how you handle business that I'm unaware of. So I'm going to take my ropes and my sticks and hit those. I'm going to brush it down to the base, kind of, roughly. I'm not caring about perfection here. Okay. All right, let me get a rag. I'm gonna dab some of this excess moisture off, like that. See that? Not putting a lot of pressure, just kind of grabbing it with the t-shirt or whatever shirt this is. Somebody new introduced themselves on Discord. We have an introduction channel. And they were talking about they like to do everything cheap because they're poor. And that's how I got my start here. I do everything as cheap as possible. Okay, getting that same t-shirt, and there are some spots where it ran and it made some weirdness, so I'm just going to dab those out. Dab that weirdness out. Okay. Now there's an important step we have to do here. Let's get some of this, let's get a darker color. Let's get our burnt umber. And a small brush, like a size 1, or maybe even a fractional if you're feeling proggy. And let's get around these pieces where it looks like it's a different thing and make some stitching. I think that's going to add to the aesthetic here. These don't have to be perfect. I probably should use a smaller brush. It would have made it easier to make it look better. But I think this will sell it just fine. Okay. Now, I don't know about decorations and what would be great and what wouldn't be great, but in the color the pictures I saw some like reds and turquoises. So I'm going to generically, without any idea what I'm talking about, try to implement something like that. Now, mind you, I'm not educated on any lore or any history. I just saw some pictures on the internet and I liked them. So I think I'm going to try to add something just to give this a little bit of color. I'm using a very wet, watered down turquoise. And just about every half inch or so, I'm adding a little turquoise dot. Like that. And then I'm going to come back in between with like a red dot. And then I'm going to come around the outside here at about every half inch. And these are not measured, I'm just generically eyeballing it. Okay, I did that with the turquoise. Now I'm going to get a blue or a red or an orange. I mean, a red or an orange. I'm seeing what feels wet here. Barn red feels a little bit wet. And it adds a little color, but it's not overwhelming. And it's not like drawing your eye specifically to that spot. The blue is probably a little more obnoxious than the red was. Is this necessary? Probably not. Could you skip this? Oh yeah. Especially if you're trying to make a bunch of these, you probably don't want to spend a lot of time doing the decor. In the comments, you can explain what you know about this topic. I don't know anything about it, so you'll be educating me as well. I'm going to make that dot a little bigger and that one a little bigger. Okay, there it is. There's the Teepee. Now we do need some kind of foliage on here. Some scrub brush or something like that to really kind of bring it alive. Probably could have threw a campfire inside too, really. Didn't do it, could have. So for scrub brush or whatever kind of brush we need, if you have a stuffed animal, that's the best thing. I don't have one down here. I keep meaning to bring something down or to hit up Goodwill or something if I can't find anything. So let's make our scrub brush different. I'll be right back. I'm looking for green yarn. I had some green yarn down here. Couldn't find any green yarn. So we're just going to get a knife or a paddle or a scraper or spreader or whatever this is. A stainless steel made in China. And we're going to get some yarn here. We're going to get some skizzers. I'm going to snip off some of this so I don't have to fight with it. I'm going to put that in a little bit of a bundle. Like that. Cut it flush. Get some glue. Just like that. Shove our bundle down into the glue and let it sit for a minute or two. Get nice and serious. I'm going to cut this top like that. And we're going to make another one of those, actually. All right, we're going to let those cool. All right, get something sharp, like a little poker of some sort, and dig your scrub apart. Getting rid of the beautiful twists and turns and natural meduvals of it. Okay. Okay. Once you have that done, snip off any super fuzzy spots and then pop these off the best you can. Okay. Now, you have it loose, you can kind of play with it some and get rid of any excess fuzz that you don't want. Okay. Now, you can dip this into a wash and let it absorb up any of the funky brown you want it to have, just like that. Okay. Just like that. Now I'm going to fold this in between a t-shirt and squeeze it, and that's going to remove some of the color and leave like a brush nasty kind of grossness to it. Okay, something like that. No problem. Good thing we made that wash, right? Right. Then I'm going to get my small brush in that brown, and I'm going to come around and paint the base of it. Just like that. Okay. Set that one there. Okay. Now, to get it on here, we're just going to simply put a dab of super glue. And we're going to shove it on there like that. Okay. And we're going to do 2 of those. So let's see where the other one can fit. Likely, it can't fit too many places. So we'll put it over here where there's a little bit of room. Okay. pair of scissors. Hold on, this is smoking. Since that's smoking, I'm going to get a little bit of water on that to make it kind of behave a little better. I'm just going to use my wash water to do that. Okay. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay, and snip off the rest, top part. Oh, hell and damn, mistakes were in fact made. But an easy fix is to get hot and press it down. Spread your stuff out a little bit. That was terrible. That didn't work at all. Hey, who cares? So usually you would make these in advance and they'd be dry and done, and then you would just glue them on. You wouldn't do what I did. So we're going to leave them there and look at them as part of the suffering of the failure of this project. Because sometimes you need those little failures to remind you that you've done poorly. Today, I've done poorly. Okay. All right, so that's the gist of it. I did want to snip some of this stuff off, but it's still kind of wet and hard to cut because the glue's not dry. Oops. All right, we're going to have to wait till it gets solidified and turned into a rock from the super glue. I'll put a little bit more on there and we'll let it sit before I get my action shots. So please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon and all that happy crappy. Or you want to learn how to make these brilliant mistakes like I make. And you'll be sad and your heart will be hurt. So leave a comment and all that stuff. Check out the website. Link will be in the description. There's a discount code to go with it. Check out the Discord. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.